I'm going to walk through and explain an n8n agent that uses Slack to interact with an Airtable. So let me switch to this. Okay, so this is the n8n workflow here. It's triggered from Slack. It takes what you're sending from Slack and it sends it to an AI agent that has these different tools at its disposal. And then it returns something in a response back to Slack. So let me give a example here. So here we are, or let me, so on the left, I've got n8n. On the right, I've got Slack where I'm working on the solution. And then I've got here, this is the Airtable. It's called ContentFlow. And you can see here is a bunch of content and tests. Okay, so let me just demonstrate it first, and then we'll walk through it. Okay, I'm over here in Slack. I have to be in this particular channel called AI Agent, which has a Slack app that I created and added to this channel. And I can say something like, create this, and then I'll say, I can dance if I want to. So when I hit enter, actually let me trigger this workflow first of all. So now it's waiting for Slack, and now I'll come over to Slack and I hit enter. We should see the n8n workflow start to kick in. There it goes. The agent's doing its thing, and I'm going to walk through all these after this demo here. It's adding it to the database, and then it should end up over here with this Slack right here. Okay, so now it says replied to a thread. So it's actually in the thread here. Great. I've created and stored your content in the database. Here's a summary. So it got an ID of C133. It got a title, I can dance if I want to, and then text. This is what I wrote, I can dance if I want to. And it says it's been saved and can be retrieved. So let's go look at my, here it is, C133, right? Yep. There's the text I wrote, I can dance if I want to. And then it came up with this title, which is basically just the same thing, but that's fine. That's an appropriate title. That's what Anthropic Claude came up with. And it put it in here. So it created this record in Airtable. So now what we can do is we can do something with that. Like we could say update C133 to include mention of leaving my friends behind. Okay, now before I do that, I have to, this scenario isn't, basically active yet. So I have to make sure I remember to execute workflow each time. It's waiting for Slack. Let's send. Agent is doing its thing. It's getting the content from the Airtable, updating the database, and then it should send me a Slack message. Okay, so now it says I've successfully updated the content in C133. The content now reads, I can dance if I want to, I can leave my friends behind. So that's good. And then we'll just verify that right here. And there we go. So it updated that using Claude. So now that we've seen this in action, let's kind of walk through what's happening here. Okay, we'll just start at the beginning. So with Slack trigger, so this is, I won't go into details on how I made the Slack bot, but just know that I created a Slack bot and then I added it to this channel. And that's the thing we used as the trigger here. So the trigger Slack AI agent on any event, and it says which channel to watch, and that's the ID of this channel in my Slack workspace. So anytime I'm in this channel AI agent and I'm typing something, that's gonna trigger this this workflow. And then what it does is it takes what we've sent to it and it goes to the AI agent and You can see here, this is the one that I just did, the text, which is update C133. And the AI agent has these instructions here on how to handle, I'm trying to, my mouse must be dirty because I'm trying to grab that. There we go. Okay, so it's got a system prompt here in the AI agent. It says you assist in creating, storing, managing, and publishing content. And then it goes into details on the different tools that are associated with this agent. So get content, add to database, and then update database here. So all three of those we've kind of used here. So it knows how to work with the various tools to handle the Slack messages that you send it. And for every AI agent, you've got these different items down here. These on the right here, these are called tools, and these tools do specific things. And then over here, we've got two things that come in handy for an agent, which are the model that you want to use. And so I'm using Anthropic's chat model here. You can use OpenAI or any number of other models. And then I have a memory here, and the way the memory works is that as I'm typing stuff into Slack, the memory is what allows it to keep track of each post and the thread that's involved with replying to that message in Slack. So a brain and memory, kind of like the Scarecrow in Wizard of Oz, I guess, is what comes to my mind. But basically, you just pick your model, add some memory, and then you start adding tools. And these different tools do different things. And so get content, they each do one specific thing. So when we're doing the get content, we're looking up we're associating it to our Airtable credentials. We're telling it what's the base and what's the table, and that's ContentFlow, and the table is content. So if we look here, ContentFlow is the base, content is the table. And then what we're doing is we have a field CID. If we look here, it says CID. So that's the number that we want, the unique number. And we're getting the content for C133, and that's why when I'm interacting with the AI agent, I have to always use that ID to do something like, update C133, that kind of thing. Okay, and then a return also, we have when it gets that content and it searches it up and finds it, then it gives it gathers up all the information about that record, including the record ID, which we use in other tools. But it's got all the information there. And then what we can do is, let's take a look at add to database. It's very similar, but it's, so it's Airtable credentials, ContentFlow, and table. Those are all kind of the same. But then down here, we have text and title. Those are the two things that we are working with on adding to database. And when we type something over here, like create this, and then I say, Slack is a good way to enter information into Airtable via n8n. So that's the text right there, and the title it comes up with. So let's see, when I hit enter, actually let me go execute this workflow, and then we'll fire that off. And then let's see what title it comes up with, because the other one that I did before, the title was the exact same thing as what I wrote in the text. So I want to make sure that this is actually unique contents. Yeah, and so this time you can see it's a little more clear. It says Slack integration with Airtable via n8n. That was a title that the Anthropic chat model came up with based on the content that I typed in. so I don't have to worry about a title. It will come up with a title for me. And I always can change it if I want to in Airtable, but or perhaps even with the agent. But the main thing is that you just type your idea and it captures it and assigns a title that it thinks is relevant. And then let's look at update databases. Or update database. So this, all the same stuff here, but what it does is it columns to match on. So it in that prior tool, the other tool, the get content tool, it grabs the ID, the record ID of that particular record, and then we're using that to match right here in this first value to update, and then text and title. But the reason it's updating that is because if we look at our AI model here, or system prompt, update database, we're telling it the purpose of this update database step is to modify existing content record in the Airtable database. And it even has usage here. So when a user requests an update to an existing CID, first retrieve the content using the get content tool that we talked about earlier, and then update the text column of the identified record. And so it's taking what you're telling it in Slack and it's running that through the AI model using this tool, and this tool has different instructions like the purpose, usage, and the required fields and what's optional and whatnot, and that's how it knows how to update the record in the database. And the final piece is just Slack. Basically, you're sending the response back to Slack in a thread, and the way that thread works is this particular bit of code here basically sticks it back into a thread based on the timestamp. So that's my explanation of what's going on here with n8n, Slack, and Airtable for this piece of a solution I'm building out currently.